When am I not dancing? There is always some sort of theme music in my head, and so I kind of move with it. So let me go ahead and share some things because today's conversation is clearly one of the topics I feel that a lot of people would rather us not talk about beyond, I don't know. It just feels as if there have always been some taboo topics, and we already know politics is one, religion is one, sex is one, money is one, all the isms, and the right for women to choose what to do for their body, go ahead and throw that on the pile. Because it gets into all of those topics, right? Like it does touch on some politics. It definitely talks about religion. And it's going to cover the isms as well. So I am prefacing this because this conversation is not about people agreeing with me. That isn't it. That is not it. We are all individuals and we all believe what we believe in based on your, upbringing, lifestyle, all the things. So this is more of a conversation that is created to share some perspectives. Now, clearly, I'll be speaking from a perspective, just one, because I'm only representing Gwendolyn here, of a Black woman, right? Because being Black is not a monolithic experience, nor is being a woman. Like we're not one size fits all. So with that, let me go ahead. Let me get a little music for us because we got some stuff to get into. Good afternoon, people. I am Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. I am the host of Guuuuurl Listen. And I've been telling myself, okay, how are you going to have this conversation and keep a PG rated filter? Because the stuff that is putting out there, I swear to Almighty in heaven, man, the words that fall off my lips, we will see how well I do. I'm not going to promise you anything. I am not, because I am that heated. Before we get started, I want to make sure that I shout out the beautiful friends here. We have Ma El here. Hello, ma'am. Hello. Thank you for showing up. We have Dr. Chachi in the building. Hello to you. We also have Danny in the building. Hello. And Danny, we have sat around the table and did some chit chats. So there is that. There is also Tanya in the building. Hello, Tanya. And we do have Gary Jackson Jr. He is here. He is here as well. So this is going to be a heavy topic. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a heavy topic. And because it is going to be heavy and it's two parts, I'm going to tell you real quick. I was on my annual tech disconnect when the story about Kate Cox came through on the news. And I immediately wrote down that I wanted to talk about this in March. This is International Women's Day. And this is Women's History Month. Okay. And I just said to myself, I got to talk about this. And then things went down in Alabama because they always doing some stuff. Right? Things went down in Alabama. So I thought, you know what, Gwendolyn? I clearly can't wait for every other week. This is a two-parter, people. So first things first, because I want to put out my news. I want to do my news first, and then I'm going to get right into the nitty-gritty of people. There are some women, but it's mostly men keeping their hands off my uterus, okay? I'm going to do that. So first things first, I want to shout out a a project that is near and dear to my heart. And I'm so happy that Dr. Tachi is in the building because this promo is about something very special. Yes, Indie Soup Media TV. Oh, okay, we've been working on this, and you guys thought that this was something. I have a show on Indie Soup Media TV. We're gonna have watch parties and the whole nine, but I want to do this right now, people. Right now. You can go on my channel. There is a link to Indie Soup Media TV. I need you guys to go ahead and subscribe. You thought that this was just doing something, man. You know, I like kicking up the dust, and I appreciate Dr. Tachi creating a place for creatives to do exactly that. So I need you guys to subscribe to Indie Soup Media TV, and they are on all the platforms. So also look for us on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places, Twitch, all the places. But it is going to be something amazing. So I want you guys to make sure that you are subscribe to their channel. If you haven't, I highly suggest also too, because I'll be putting out special things for ladies. Listen up. Sign up for that GRH Jack newsletter. Oh, okay. Are y'all ready? Are we gonna do this? Yes, I'm excited. All right, so let's talk about Alabama. Okay. Because okay. Yes. Okay, I don't even know how to start this ridiculous conversation, but I'm going to do my best. I am. Because with all the stuff that is happening in the world, I am still trying to wrap my arms around why men feel the need to tell me and a lot of other women what to do with their body. We have some real issues on the table, people. Real issues. I'm trying to sit here, I'm thinking, what exactly do you not have going on that you feel the need to create these policies? And we're going to get into this because it's not just Alabama. We know Florida always doing some shit, fuck it, some dumbass shit. All right. But Oklahoma ain't too far behind. I'm going to get to that. I just want to know why we're not focusing on matters that truly impact the lives and can change the lives of American citizens. So let me start with this, IVF. Now I understand that in all the things that we do, mistakes can happen, right? They could happen. I know couples who have used IVF to create their family. I get it. I understand it. And when mistakes happen, trust. That's a big blow to the journey of having a family. So let me just slide back really quick. I want to slide back just a little bit. I don't have kids of my own. I don't have them. And as much as I love my nieces, my nephews, my grandchildren, my cutest little grandbabies, I love them. Doesn't mean that I wanted to have any of my own. Absolutely did not want to do it. Didn't want to do it. So some of these people who feel like it is their duty to protect the family, who want to now tell us when we can't and can have kids, how we create our families. I'm trying to really wrap my head around it. Now I already know some of this stuff, but I'm gonna go back really quick. I say this often because I need people to understand we are not too far removed from having these luxuries and these liberties and these freedoms. I say this all the time. Women didn't get the chance to have their own checking and credit card account until 1974. I was born in 75. Okay? I need you guys to understand their perspective. And let me also say this, that I know that a few years ago, we felt as if we didn't have a choice when it came to our office of the president. And people were talking about, well, it's the lesser of two evils. It's this or that. It wasn't the lesser of two evils. That was not the case. And there were some of us who chose not to vote. And because of that, a clown was put into office who did major damage to all the work so many of us were fighting for. So understand that when you choose not to participate in your local elections, where you're choosing your judges, when you choose to not participate in your larger elections for your senators, House representatives, the president, this is the bullshit we have to deal with. We want to make sure that all the people who are participating in this, there's a certain set of citizens who absolutely believe that persons who look like me are less than. They believe that in terms of gender, I really don't have the aptitude to make decisions, right? Like, that's a man's job. There are women who believe that too. So I'm not saying that just because you're a woman, you agree with this. That is not the case. No, ma'am. That is not it. So let's get into Alabama and their foolishness, shall we? All right. So this judge who, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about religion. You know, he cited the Bible in his decision, in his ruling. He cited the Bible. Church and state being separate. In what world? In what world? So this ruling declared that frozen embryos should be legally considered children. Yeah. Do they even have a gender at that point? Does anybody know? Because I'm thinking not, but I just maybe I'm not sure. But yeah, decided that frozen embryos should be legally considered children. And obviously that created a lot of chaos and a kerfuffle for people who were currently in the process of their IVF treatments. And it just impacted so many lives for people who claim to be pro-life. And let me just step out really quick because, hey, this is where we are. For people who claim to be pro-life, how is it that you completely ignore the health of the mother? How is it that we don't have a living wage? How is it that we don't have paid paternity, maternity, family leave? So it's just, you need to have this baby, but after that, you're on your own. You and that kid. Yeah. How is that even possible when we claim to be so pro-life that we can't even get affordable health care for my family? So I need it to make sense. It's not going to change how I feel about things, but I would love to understand the argument behind it. That's where I'm going. I want to understand the argument behind it because it don't make any sense. None whatsoever. When you look at these states, their education system, as a matter of fact, I want to say there's only 8 states that offer free lunch for kids who cannot afford. 8 states. 8. Now, I'm in Texas, and you know how we do some really dumbass stuff. So there was a young man who was suspended from school multiple times because of his hair. And there was a superintendent who mentioned that following the dress code and being groomed a certain way helped with learning. Well, last time I looked, not being hungry helped with learning too. Just in case you didn't know, it's kind of hard for a child to focus when their stomach is grumbling. But we're not really worried about that. Like, that's not really what we're concerned about. Like, let's just be clear here. And as I'm going here, let me get some comments because I know, like I said, this is a two-parter. This is a 2-part conversation. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. There is no way we're going to get all of this done. But Mary says, men don't want us taking their guns away from them, but they love to take away women's agency and ownership over our bodies. Yeah, because if we were about pro-life, we would definitely have some sort of gun regulation. I mean, how many mass shootings have we had? I was talking to my husband that when I was in school, you know, we may have had a fight here and there, but, you know, we just used our fists and then we came back the next day and we're best friends. The chances of my niece and nephews and grandkids being involved in some sort of mass shooting, at school. It's pretty high. And I just knew when Sandy Hook happened, I said, this is it, people. We have taken to killing babies. This is it. And in real talk, they was like, fuck them kids. We're not really about pro-life. No, we're not. It's all for show. It's all for show. Dr. Tati says they are not pro-life. They are anti-termination. Ooh. Yes. Tanya, exactly. They are not even taking care of the babies when they get here. Not being hungry helps you stay alive. We have so many other issues to focus on in this world, in our country, in our state. And yet and still, we are super obsessed with the lady parts. We believe that somebody has to help us figure out what to do. And mind you, the people who are putting these out, the party that's putting these out, often talk about big government, how we need less government. Well, how is it that you still in my business, right? Like, how are you still all up in my cooch? I don't understand, because I don't need the government over here. Like, how far is it going to go? How far are we going to take this? Now, I'm gonna say it again. When we didn't do some things a few years ago, we had somebody in office who set a good chunk of this BS in motion. We are feeling the effects, and they're just getting started. So please don't believe that if it doesn't impact you, wait and see. Danny says, yep, we care about well-kept hair versus way more important shit. Yes. That man. And those dress codes, as archaic as they are, another show. Let me stay here. Let me stay right here, right? The ruling also raised perplexing questions. What rights will people have over their embryos? And could disposing of an unused embryo lead to criminal charges? Now, people, I've never had to deal with it. I know loved ones and friends who have. Some of the embryos are not viable, right? Like, just because you've gone through all of this doesn't mean that everything's going to work out in your favor. It is a painful process, emotionally and physically. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this happens, this Alabama Supreme Court makes this ruling, and all of a sudden, now I got scrambling to figure out how to fix this mess that was created and didn't need to be. Yes, there was an accident. It was an act. I don't believe the people working in these fertility clinics seek out every day to make somebody's life hard. But we trip. I mean, I'm walking into door frames every day. I'm at that age. I mean, hey, accidents happen. It was not malicious, but we have swung this pendulum way to the other side to where it's just freaking ridiculous. Now, nationally, Democrats have not only condemned the ruling in Alabama, but also tied it directly to the U.S. Supreme Court decision that ended nationwide protections for abortions, which has galvanized women and suburban voters to support Democrats across the country. Alabama families losing access to IVF is a direct result of Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices overturning Roe versus Wade. Yes. Trump is responsible for 20 plus abortion bans, restrictions on women's ability to decide if and when to grow a family, and attacks on contraception. All right, let me get a little honest with you guys, because again, this is just part one of this conversation. As I mentioned, I heard the story about Kate Cox, and I thought we have to do another, we got to talk about this. So next week, we're going to talk about let the baby go down with the ship. Because it really comes down to that. They're not really concerned about women's health. And the mother's health is like, hey, if she make it, great. If she don't, oh, well, it's not our fault. It really boils down to that. So I know a lot of people paint Planned Parenthood as the abortion center. And the fact of the matter is, they are so much more than that. And typically, I have found that when people make those comments, there are people who have access to private doctors. Now, Gwendolyn went through a stint where she was between full-time insurance and part-time insurance. So I had zero healthcare. And of course I get sick. Of course, but I still need access to a women's wellness exam, and they do it for men as well. We need access to healthcare. So they are more than just that. And when people talk about removing access to what women use for reproductive healthcare, they don't understand all that goes on inside our body. They don't get it. They don't get it. Now, I will tell you, when I was 20 something, maybe 22, I was a workaholic. I admit that. I was trying to climb some imaginary ladder. Okay. And I had noticed there was a cyst. Not only could I feel it, I could see it, y'all. I could see this cyst. And I thought, well, if I just wait another week, I could take off and then I could get my surgery and go to the doctor. That's how ridiculous this American hustle mindset is, that even when you're clearly ill and you should go to the doctor, you don't go to the doctor. But I went in there, right? They removed the cyst and then immediately put me on a birth control to keep this fibroid away. And for those of you who know people who know women, I should say people, but women who deal with that, some of us have it really, really bad. And some of us have it kind of on the easy side. But being on birth control that entire time kept them away. Now you get to a certain age where you can't stay on the birth control. And what happens? It shows up again. So when people make these assumptions about why women do what they do, it's all about, well, we don't want to do this and we don't need them to have access. You don't understand what we're dealing with. And I'm still stuck on as to why a guy is even concerned. Again, we know why they're concerned. Because when they make these laws, these senators, it's a very good chance, even if they had a mistress, we know they're not going to get an abortion, right? We know they have access. So let's not pretend that if they had to get it done, they wouldn't get it done. Let's not pretend that. But I'm going to continue. Because of course they signed in the bill, I think it was just yesterday or the day before, they have signed in the bill giving immunity to patients and providers. Because, you know, nobody wants to be held, see that as a criminal for doing what people do to create a family. So the legislation is designed to allow patients and the clinics to immediately restart IVF treatments in Alabama without fear of legal repercussions if embryos are damaged or destroyed during the medical procedure or related services like embryo storage and shipments. Okay. So I want to return to something because I'm still stuck on the Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos are children with a constitutional right to life. Okay. All right. So I don't know about the women in the room, but I'm not at that age yet, but I'm experiencing menopause. So my body does this thing that if we aren't ready to have a family, we just kind of like let things go. So is that process the same thing? Because I'm trying to understand exactly when this egg going through the process knew that it was about to be. Like, I just want to know, because though none of this makes sense to me. None of it. When a woman gets an IUD or any other kind of contraceptive, pardon me, to make sure that she and her partner are responsible persons when they're building their family. I just want to know, like, is that the same thing? Because by nature, my body's like, since you're not going to use this egg, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it for you. It's a natural thing over here. It's a natural thing. It happens every month. Sometimes 24 days, sometimes 30. I just want to know, like, is that the same thing? Because you're telling me that this egg who needs a partner to become anything anyway, is like, is there a thought there? I'm confused. I am confused. Yes, power under the guise of religion. Now, we already know how religion is used. And I know people are like, you shouldn't talk about religion. Well, so sorry. Not sorry. We know that religion has been used in a number of situations to promote someone's agenda. Hello, slavery, right? That women should be submissive to men, that this is us protecting God's will. I don't know what Bible y'all reading. I don't know. I don't know what Bible y'all reading, but yeah. Religion has been used in so many ways to dominate over others. And I'm so conflicted. Now I will tell you now, I am non-denominational. I know I quote a lot of Bible verses because I have a different relationship with the Lord, but that doesn't mean that I subscribe to this Christian nationalist agenda. And I'm gonna call it agenda because it is so beyond what I believe the good Lord is about. Like, I could have sworn God is love, and some of these people are spouting hate every single day. I feel like I should write a letter to management. I want to know who y'all talking to when you get on your knees and pray, because that's different. It is very different, very. But let me continue, because I'm just getting the tip of the iceberg here. Tip of the iceberg. Okay. I get that there's the big issue on pausing the clinics, and the immunity brings some relief that will shield them from being sued. Even so, this is one of the representatives. He urged that his colleagues add personhood language to the existing bill. Our temporary solution here is akin to turning a water hose on a burning tree in a forest that's on fire, England said, emphasizing that the immunity bill does nothing to address a minefield of remaining legal questions, like whether doctors who destroy an embryo outside of IVF services could face homicide charges, or whether the state is now required to take custody of abandoned frozen embryos. Come on, man. Republican State Representative Ernie Yarborough, okay. He likened clinics' routine destruction of embryos to a Holocaust and advocated to keep the pause on IVF in order to make sure we are not endorsing the destruction of lives of children. Okay, if you feel that way, where's our gun control? Where is that? Where is that? Because kids have a far higher chance of being shot than this right here. Like, these aren't even... These folks, these kids, they frozen. In this article, as a matter of fact, somebody said, so if you have a frozen embryo in the freezer for 30 years and you take him out the freezer, can this child get a license? I was like, I mean, it just, when you say it out loud, I just have to shake my head and say, what in the world? Seriously? Now this is nothing like the Holocaust. And that's disgusting to even make it as some sort of example. It ain't even close. You know good and damn well it is nothing like that. You know better. Like, cut it out. Cut it out. It ain't even close to that, right? Like, not even close. But hold on. And shout out to Ron Foster joining us this evening. Hello, sir. Hello to you. See, I thought Texas was doing some really ridiculous stuff. And I understand why a lot of lawsuits are brought to Texas. Because if it starts here, it can spread like wildfire everywhere else. Texas and Florida, they like battling out for it. But wait a minute, hold my beer. Oklahoma wants to show up. And why? There's a new Oklahoma bill that could allow state to create a database of women who had abortions. A database. They now want to create a database. All right, so a Democratic lawmaker expressed concerns Wednesday that a GOP-sponsored anti-abortion bill could create a state database of women who have undergone the procedure and ban emergency contraception. Thank you. A bipartisan group of lawmakers, including the Republican chair of the House Public Health Committee, expressed concerns that House Bill 3216 from Representative Kevin West could ban some forms of birth control, such as IUDs. I'm going to say it again. People think birth control is about one thing. If these men and women too understood, and I'm not saying that some women don't know, some women are fully aware. They're fully aware. They are fully aware of what goes on in here, but there is this sort of, I don't know, holier than thou mindset, mission that I should help you because God forbid you make the wrong decision and we just can't help you if that's the case. Yeah. It's not birth control. But more than that, they want to track us because we're like cattle, right? How dare you decide what to do with your body because whatever your situation is, you're not ready to have a child right now. Right. And I want to pinpoint to this. I mean, come to some of the comments, but this Oklahoma bill would allow lawsuits for those who help women obtain abortions. It would allow the state to identify women who also obtain abortions. They're talking felony charges, people. I mean, I find myself saying, what country am I in? I just want to know. If you don't believe that your vote matters and that you participating in all of your elections, local, federal, all of them, every single one, you understand. We are not too far. We haven't had these freedoms that long. And there are some people who are working extra hard to take back the power they believe they have lost. If we're looking at preserving the life of the unborn, I think one of the ways to do that is access to birth control. Okay, let me. Yeah, I was thinking that Handmaid's Tales. Is this real life, people? This is real life. This is real life. I have nieces and granddaughters. Oh, I have one. I put it out into the universe. But I'm looking at this like I just didn't think that we would be going backwards. And we are going backwards extremely fast right now. Extremely fast. We're going backwards. You have people who are coming for birth control. Now, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of the birth control that they are coming for. But the fact that you want to have a database to track the women who've had an abortion, why does it even matter to you? Like, why is it like we have not looked at increasing the wage of American citizens. They wonder why so many young people are putting off starting a family. They can afford it. They are living with their parents. They can afford it. They don't even have health care, right? Like, I don't know what the going cost is now for a hospital stay when you're having a baby and you don't have insurance. I would love to know. I should have, you know what? We'll be here next week. I'll research it. But they make it seem as if this is the way to go. This is it, right? Because women, like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing with your body. You don't know. Hey, shout out to my mamas who is here. Hey, Ma, how are you? How are you? Danny says, I need government assistance to help take care of all of my embryos. Girl. When people do stuff, I don't believe they really stop to think about the bigger picture. They're so focused on their mission, their message, and their, I don't know, control, that they could just say, screw everybody else. Because it really comes down to that. It really comes down to that. Why is it your job to protect the unborn? I'm gonna say it again. This egg, it comes all the time and it gets dispelled because I'm not trying to bring any kids into this world. It was not written in my cards and I'm okay with that. But who are you to tell somebody that, you know what, you really want some kids? And we know people are asking grown people, why don't you have kids? Which is so rude. It is so beyond rude. And it is unacceptable. Cut it out. Cut it out. Ron says the same people don't want a database for bad cops. Bruh. because they could easily go from state to state, still doing what they do. For sure. Tanya says, right, using resources and money they can be using to help the kids that are here. Yeah. And yes, it is about control. It's about control. And I'm going to say it again. The people that they are attacking, it wouldn't be their wives. It wouldn't be their daughters. It wouldn't be their nieces. Because if something had to happen, trust, they would have access to it. So we go back to this. West said that he intends to change that part of the bill to target over-the-counter contraception that is not used under a physician's supervision. IUDs and most forms of birth control pills require a prescription. Emergency contraception, also known as the morning after pill or Plan B, does not. West said he crafted the bill with the Alliance Defending Freedom, a Christian law firm, in response to the Oklahoma Supreme Court striking down recent anti-abortion laws. Make it make sense for me. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. We live in a country where we all talk about being individuals. And I believe that everybody is free to worship however they see fit. Why certain people feel the need to push their religion on somebody else, I need to understand. Actually, I don't need to understand it. I'm just trying to be gracious. I really am. It's not your business, right? It is not your place to dictate how somebody should live, what someone should believe in, how they should practice their religion. That's not your spot, especially if you ain't paying my bills. It's definitely not your spot. There are real issues at hand. If you go to some of these cities, the streets, the potholes, there's some real work that y'all could be working on. And this ain't it. This is not it. Oklahoma bans abortion except to save the life of the mother. What? You need me around? What? We're a device. We're a vessel. We are just a vessel. They can care less. It's like, okay, wait. Is she really gonna die? Or you just saying she might die? Because if she might die, I don't know if we should really get that. Is she really at risk? Bastards. State law doesn't include exceptions for rape or incest. Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I want to talk to management, because if you were telling me that rape and incest is part of your religion, like that's okay, I need to start writing some letters. I want to get on the phone with the manager and have a conversation, because that, seriously, it's bad enough that someone is put through that traumatic event. That's bad enough. But then you force this person to bring a life into the world. So we'll allow it if the mother is really at risk. But if she was raped, or if her uncle or father, whomever, felt otherwise, well, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Danny says they should just make men get a little snip to prevent us from having to get on birth control. That's an idea. Because, there's nothing ever about the guy. I mean, this is, you don't want to do gender wars. You really don't. You really don't. You don't want to do gender wars. But we know it's far easier for them to get snipped than for us to do what we have to do. That much we do know. Mary says it speaks volumes that it's 2024 and we still don't have a birth control pill for men. Is anybody working on it? Like, surely somebody has to work on something to just take care of that. But that's not, they're too busy putting out, I can't even say with a straight face. They're too busy working on erectile dysfunction medications to worry about creating a birth control pill. Because we've seen a cajillion commercials for that. A cajillion commercials. Yeah. Yeah. A life that came through trauma. A life that came through trauma. I just, and this is a serious question, because you cannot tell me that whatever religious belief you have, that you would much rather support the birth of a child that came from rape or incest. I just I don't I really need that to make sense to me, because that is just, it's beyond ridiculous. Beyond. I don't even understand. So you're telling me, and let's really think about it. The person who was raped could be what, 12 years old, 13, 14, 15, 30, 42, like a 12-year-old? And you're thinking, no, she's gonna have to figure it out. She's gonna have to figure it out. Because that's just, yeah. I need to talk to your manager. I want to talk to the manager, the person in charge. I want to talk to him. If we can send a man to the moon, they can come up with a pill for men. You girl, Mary. Dr. Tachi says, because we are to blame if we get pregnant. Ooh, shots fired. Pew, pew, pew. Therefore, it becomes our responsibility. Ooh, Dr. Tachi. Ooh. Yeah, it is us. Oh, you know what? They're right. There was that 10-year-old. Yes, there was that 10-year-old last year or the year before. You are correct. I'm going to say it again. You can't tell me that your religion supports that. So West Bill would allow for civil lawsuits. Okay, I'm going to go back to this whole giving the citizen the right to do some really disgusting things. And I know I have some nosy neighbors. I got like about one or two. Really one across the street. But if someone broke into my house, she would know it. But West Bill would allow for civil lawsuits against those who help a woman obtain an abortion, and creates new requirements for physicians to report each abortion they perform. Women who obtain an abortion would be assigned a unique patient identifier that would allow them to be identified by the Oklahoma State Department of Health. Was that a scarlet letter? Is that where we're going? Another bill would make delivering or possessing abortion-inducing drugs a felony. Okay, so we can shoot people, we can do mass murders and things, we can be a sex offender, and we can do all these things and probably get like, what, 5 years, maybe? I don't know. But God forbid if you possess abortion-inducing drugs. That is crossing the line. That's the line. On a party line vote, the House Criminal Judiciary Committee also passed legislation Wednesday that would allow prosecutors to charge individuals who possess or deliver abortion-inducing drugs with felony trafficking charges. The person delivering abortion pills, which can be used to terminate a pregnancy within the first 10 weeks, could be charged if they know another person intends to use the medication to cause an unlawful abortion. An individual could face 10 years in prison or $100,000 in fines if found guilty. I'm gonna come back to Miss Crosswhite Hater. I'm gonna come back to her real quick. Okay. 10 years. 10 years, y'all. Now, I have seen, if you watch the news nationwide, there are people who have committed murders who get 5, 10. There was a guy, I think down in Houston just yesterday, I want to say, shot his wife, killed her, right? And they just happened to mention it was an all-woman jury who did not give him the maximum. He got 10 years and he could be paroled in 5. And on that, I'm going to take a sip. 10 years. We know. I kind of like, did Mike Vick get more years for being associated with somebody who had dog fights versus none of these crimes are equal. I know that. But I know good and damn well that a person who is delivering abortion medication, really? A felony? Seriously? Okay. All right. Recall that these are the same beings that found excuses for colonialism. Oh, yes. All they are doing is transferring their colonizer spirits to women's bodies, and the church shall say amen. Mm-hmm. Like, do not believe that this is coming from nowhere. It's not. And I'm going to say it again. I'm not blaming those who didn't vote. I'm not. Because somebody out there believed, well, it's the lesser of two evils. Hillary she's not much better than. We are in this mess because enough of us didn't show up to vote. And that's across the board. And let's just be sure about here. There are women who voted for Trump. I'm not like, really. There are women who believe that a man needs to help us make sense of what we do every day and run the household and like take care of things. Cause like little old me, I just can't figure it out. There are women who believe that. I don't fault them. Do what you do, sis. But what you do ain't got nothing to do with me. Not a damn thing. Cause that ain't how I roll. It's not how I roll. It's not how I'm thriving. I don't need your help. I don't need it. Gary says it's freaking insane. And the worst part, folks are really okay, but very okay with it. But let me tell you, again, it started and it is like a wildfire. It is spreading. And a lot of stuff starts in Texas because if it happens here, they give them the playbook to do it in other places. I'm gonna say it real quick. I normally don't tell people what they ought to do because that ain't my spot, but I know this much. Y'all better show up in November. Like real talk. Show up. Because this right here, it only gets worse. It doesn't get any better. And, you know, for all the pie in the sky and keep hope alive, yeah, this only gets worse. This is just the beginning of what is to come. If you don't believe that this is going to impact you, your daughter, granddaughters, whomever, hey, check it out. It's impacting us now. We're not even there yet. Yeah. Some states are going after the Uber driver for driving a female across state lines to have an abortion. What? I did not know that. Thank you for sharing, Ron. Did not know that. Did not. And hello. Now, I know it says Kate. We're going to work that out. We're going to work that out. Yeah. It's ridiculous how much effort is being put into this thing, but we can't even get common sense gun laws passed. We can't even get a Congress that ain't did a damn thing this year to take care of the border until, of course, it's election time, because, you know, we need something to stir up the masses. There's so much to be done. And this right here, this ain't it. So Representative Denise Cross-White-Hater said House Bill 3013 is intended to protect the health of women who might regret their decision to seek an abortion. She has expressed concerns that medical complications could arise if a woman takes abortion pills incorrectly. Should they be provided by someone who isn't a medical professional? Why are you even concerned about my regrets? I regret a few things. There are some dudes I wish I had never met. Of course, I now know what I was seeking, so maybe there was a plus in there somewhere. But my regrets ain't got nothing to do with you. What? What? It's not your place. It's not your place to try to like, why are you, just because you regretted your decision ain't got jack to do with me. Not one. iota, zero. I keep saying trying because I'm really not. I'm not trying to understand this foolishness. I'm not trying to get it. Yes, I know this is hater. I know Kate is not like your alter ego, so I appreciate it. But I don't want to understand. I've never had a holier than thou mentality that I felt like I should, and let's just be aware of should. I work really hard in not using a few words. Should is one of them. Now, it wasn't always that way, but lately, should is very judgmental and it pushes your beliefs on somebody else. You should do this. Okay, so let's stop. As a society, you should not commit murder. Okay, yeah, we agree with that. And if you don't want to have issues, you probably should pay your taxes on time. Okay, but that's like, don't run the red light, safety first. But other than that, it's not your place to be concerned about another woman's regret. Don't they have doctors for that? Like therapists and stuff? Like you ain't got to, if you're going to do all that, then I want to see a healthcare bill that gives all of these women who have to work through the process access. Because that's it. All this other fuss and fuss is theater. It is straight theater. And it's a well-coordinated agenda. They got it down. As Ron says, yes, they are just getting started. We have seen nothing yet. And in real talk, these people who want to take us back to the good old days, as Ron and I were talking the other day, Black folks are only so much of this country. And Jim Crow ain't been gone that long. You let them have their way, we'd be back out in them fields. And they probably shoot me for us. Let me not say it. Let me not say it. Stirring up the good niggers. Yes, that would be Gwendolyn. They would put me down so fast. Yeah, this is real life, people. This is real life. Okay? They are just getting started. Representative Hades needs to sit down. Not her issue or her business. Yes. It is not your spot to be concerned about what some other woman is doing. Okay, so let's see how far this goes. All right, because they're already regulating that embryos are children, and they now want to make you a felon for helping someone have an abortion and that kind of thing. Are we now going to regulate my menstrual cycle? Is that going to be a crime too? Is that it? Are we now going to regulate sexual positions? I just want to know, how far does this go? Are we going to put cameras and be like, you're not doing it right, Stephen. You're not doing it right. Like, how far are we going? Because this is stupid. It's beyond ridiculous. But it is designed to hurt certain people. I said 1,000 times. I understand I am second class. I understand it. I have some freedoms. I have some liberties. I am enjoying them right now, but it never escapes me that I am still less than twice over. Okay? Understand that. This is just them getting started. Jenny says, girl, on that note, before I get a medically necessary hysterectomy, I was forced to go speak to a psychiatrist to ensure I would not regret it later. What? Oh my goodness, Danny. What? Oh my. And I know of a number of women who had to have a hysterectomy because it was impacting their health. It was a medical decision. And this is why we have a part 2. This is why. This is exactly. Oh, you know what? I'm telling you, Gwendolyn would be out there stirring up the good niggers. They would be like, put that bitch down. Yes, they would. They most certainly would. It has not been that long, people. We have not been doing this that long. I get that when we look at life, we're like, wow, like Look at this. I can sit at a table and I can be served. And all the while, there are people right now coordinating to take all of that back. Turn back the hands of time so fast you wouldn't know what hit you. You would think, wait, I was just doing this yesterday. How is it? Y'all better pay attention. Better pay attention. As Ron says, in a dictatorship, anything is possible. Yes, and I could have sworn there was a particular person who is running for office who joked about, well, I'll just be a dictator for one day. It's just the first day. In what world does anybody choose to be a dictator for one day and then go back to? When people tell you who they are and what they're going to do, please listen. They're not joking. They're not making this up. By no means. They are working so hard to take away the freedoms that women have. Women. And keep in mind, there are women working with these people. So it's not like we're all in this together. That ain't it. We're not all burning our bras. No, that ain't it. And even then, there were women who didn't believe in fighting for these individual freedoms. Well, how can I take care of the house and home if I have to go out and vote? How does that happen? Okay. All right, people. I said it. There's a part two because there's no way we could do all of this in one. And I didn't really want this to go an hour, but we're talking about my rights. We're talking about my rights, and we are talking about a coordinated effort to take them back. First of all, I don't know if I ever really had them. I may have had a little. Maybe I've had a little, right? Because it hasn't been that long ago. It really hasn't. And I'm going to say it again. 1974 is when women were given, we were legally allowed to get our own banking and credit card without a male co-signer. Y'all think that was like years ago. I'm not 50 yet. Right? It wasn't that long ago. No, it wasn't. Things feel good right now. We feel like we're going the right direction. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you, Gary. You know what? I did fairly well. I did, but next week though, when we talk about Kate Cox, I'm coming for Texas. I know where I live. I like to stay on top of what's happening in Texas and Florida and Oklahoma. We're going to talk about maternal deaths, because people act like getting pregnant is one, super easy, and then having a healthy pregnancy is also super easy. Yeah, that's a no. That's a no. Ron says women are the low-hanging fruit in this legislation. Quest for the minority rule to control the majority. Thank you, sir. That's the quote that we're going to go out on. Again, next week, we're going to let the baby go down with the ship because we're just here as the vessel. I mean, if they could find, I guess, some sort of artificial pod to birth babies, I don't know what they would do with us then. Who knows? Surprised that I ain't worked on that yet. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I'm shocked. And before I forget, I'm going to say it again. 2 hours next week. Woo! Man, I don't know. We could talk for a while. We could. We really could talk for a while. This. You know how people pick and choose when to get on a bandwagon? And I get it. A lot of us will just hit a little button on social media, like it and repost, and that's okay. But we rarely get out, and you don't have to do a protest march. You could do a sit-in. You could do anything. You could. I come from, instead of just talking about it, you got to be about it. So when I didn't like the fact that a bus station in my parents' neighborhood had trash around it, I adopted the trash cans. Both of them. Kept it clean. If you want something, you got to get active. And I'm telling you, if the good Lord allows me, I might just run for office. They may shoot me though. I'm telling you, yeah, I don't understand. They may put me down like a rabid dog, but God damn it, I'll be coming for it. Until then, we will just keep sharing the message, putting out the news for those to know, and really think about like this is bigger. It's a coordinated effort. It's coordinated. We'll talk about some more things, but again, next week we're going to talk about Kate Cox in the state of Texas and its abortion bans. And also too, before I go, and I know I'm right at an hour, go to my site, on my page, subscribe to Indie Soup Media TV. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter. We're going to have major watch parties. It's going down, y'all. It's going down. Yes, so excited about what is coming. You guys just don't know. I have worked on some really good stuff for you guys. I have done it. Okay, with that, I'm going to go back to my Blue Flame, which is 125 proof moonshine. You see, I didn't take a lot of sips because I had to keep it together. It's the real deal. You guys have a good and safe weekend. I will see you all next week. Thank you for watching another episode of Guuuuurl Listen. Be sure to tune in every other Friday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.